This is called a Fiji parrot chili. You know why it's called parrot chili?
I'm not sure.
After you eat this, you talk like a parrot.
I'm Sufyan, and I've turned exploring Singapore into a full-time career. I'm a lifestyle writer, and I'm at my happiest when the story involves a fork. And lately, the stories that have me most intrigued are the menus not in restaurants,
I love it.
but in living rooms. In a city as food-obsessed as Singapore, I'm curious to discover the places without a sign out front. Private dining experiences. I'm heading to Singapore's most vibrant wet market to hunt down the ingredients for a private dining feast Chef Sam Chablani is hosting. He specializes primal, smoky art of Singaporean wood-fired cooking.
It's going to be a full-on barbecue feast. Everything from our meats, our seafood, our vegetables, everything is going to be procured here at Tekka Market.
All right, let's go shopping then.
Let's go. I get my spices from here. Sea breams, mackerel. I need to actually get crabs that are super feisty. So you can see like this guy's legs are still kicking. I worked in Michelin-star restaurant and I really hated it. I want to go back to analog cooking. No restaurants, no air conditioning, no exhaust, no rules. Just you, analog cooking, out in the outdoors. There's a lot of work that goes into the barbecue that people do not want to partake in.
It's true.
They love the good stuff on the grill, but they like do not want the drama. I try to make sure that that sort of Singapore barbecue experience became an elevated dining experience at No Burn, No Taste.
Prep for his meats and seafood begins at least 10 hours before his private dining experience begins. And finally, it's time to play with fire.
So why do you think we're called No Burn, No Taste?
Is it because of the char?
Yeah, kind of. I want the char to be pushed in a limit where it's actually black, but it doesn't taste like it's burnt.
So it's kind of like fooling you.
The last thing I want to do is to have botak food, like food that doesn't have that Maillard reaction. These coals are ideal for a spicy fire. These are nice, hot burning embering coals. So the chicken wings and the corn are all cooked on the spicy phase because you want to get that caramelization on it. And as you go into the satay, which generally have a lot of fat, you're going to essentially need to lower that down to a mellow fire.
The meat's rested, and I'm finally able to dig into the first meaty masterpiece.
Even though you got a nice char here, but not burnt.
Next, the lychee smoked umami crab.
Everybody gets a claw, everybody gets a booty.
You can taste the lychee wood here.
And finally, the culinary mic drop, the smoked wagyu ribeye paired with this homemade sambal belacan.
So you can feel all the juice coming out when you bite into the beef.
It just made me happy every time I discovered a new flavor that charcoal could bring to food. Every day you're in a new kitchen. Every day there's a new setup for me to transform a space into a magical space for just a moment in time. I hope it invigorates and emulates that emotion inside.
The nostalgia of it all,
The
right?
nostalgia of it all.
While Singapore has moved its grills into malls and sleek storefronts, Sam is bringing it back to the elements. Sitting here, I realized how much I miss this. I'm headed to the heart of central Singapore, in the prime district of Bukit Merah. The farmer tending to this abundant pocket, Chef Kevin. For 7 years, he's been running a supper club where the market run is a farm he's nurtured himself.
So this is ulam. This is what they call Okinawa spinach. You can take a bite.
So just eat it like that?
Yeah, the top ulam.
Oh. Okay. Herbaceous.
I grow a lot of chili plants. Quite a few of them are from Fiji, where I was born, yeah? This is taro leaf. I eat the leaves. It's very earthy, very smoky, yummy lah. Taro leaves is a staple in Fiji.
And you can't find them.
Yeah, you can't find them here. No one eats the leaves here. So the only way I can get access to them is to actually grow it.
Right.
Why did you decide to bring this farm-to-table concept into your private home dining experience?
One is the idea of provenance. When you eat something, you know where it's from. The other idea about like doing farm to table is it's a nice story behind it, you know.
Just a stone's throw away is where all of Chef Kevin's magic happens, his home. We're heading into Kevin's kitchen, where he's whipping up his signature menu.
I'm a Cantonese boy, so my parents are from the southern part of China. That's my roots, but I was born in Fiji. Now I'm in Singapore, so the 3 dishes that I picked will kind of capture a bit of who I am. So my dad was a restaurateur in Fiji. Back in the 80s and 90s, my dad's restaurant was very, very popular. When he passed away, I decided, why don't I try and do what my father did, which was feed people. So I decided to start my supper club because private dining is an avenue where you can practice your labor of love and tell an authentic story.
Kevin is getting me to help him make his appetizer, Cantonese chili biscuits.
So this was a condiment that the Maje community used to eat in Singapore. They were the domestic workers.
Yes.
I think from the 1930s to 1970s. Most of them are from the Shuntak region in southern China. Okay, so basically roll it into a ball. So what we do is basically mixing tau si, is a fermented black bean, garlic for even more funk, and then chili. It's actually dehydrated and shaped like a biscuit so that they can keep for a long time. You know, the Maje, they are from peasant communities. They can take a biscuit, break it up or hydrate it again and then season a whole plate of rice, eat it with tofu or some boiled chicken. One small biscuit can season like a few meals.
A humble biscuit, yet a massive history.
Okay, enjoy.
Thank you. I love it. Definitely at the top of the list. Next up, ulam with taro leaf pesto.
I'll show you how to put it together. Take a leaf, then put tomato jerky on it, a bit of pesto on it.
And the dish that intrigued me the most, daun keladi and terong stew.
So this is one of my signature dishes, inspired by one of the main sort of dishes you would eat when you go to Fiji. They call it palusami.
Okay.
So it's basically taro leaf parcels, but smoked in a pit. I'm doing it a bit differently, my kind of style, which is kind of like a rojak Cantonese style.
Oh, this one, there's a fusion of flavors.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also confusion of techniques as well. Yeah, so I've incorporated like a Chinese technique of cooking it in a coconut broth.
Okay.
Okay, guys.
Yay! Oh, wow. Kevin's menu is proof that we can reclaim our food, if only we choose to plant the seed. Next, I head west to a public housing estate in the neighborhood of Clementi. After 8 years in the high-pressure Michelin kitchens, Chef Christina decided it was time to play by her own rules.
In commercial kitchens, we kind of need to follow their specific concept. So doing my own private dining, I have that freedom to be able to do different things and explore different cuisines in the way I would like. I'm trying to take familiar flavors and then tying it with Japanese or European ingredients as well as French cooking techniques to create a unique dining experience while still maintaining that heart of Singaporean food.
Christina, along with her husband Lionel, hosts 3 intimate sessions a week for groups of 6 to 8. In 2.5 hours, Christina distills her elite training into 8 courses.
So the dish that really brings out my entire experiences is really the quail dish. It's a very common French ingredient. So how I prepare it is that I brine it in a very Asian-centric brine. So there's like soy sauce, dried chili, a mix of Asian spices. I brine it overnight, plunge it in hot water to tighten the skin, glaze it, and then I let it dry for about 3 days so that when I cook it, it gets a nice golden crust. It's time-consuming, but then I feel that the end result is really, really worth it.
It sounds like it's a week of flavor.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. Very yum. Good quality. Next, a dish that marries her love of Chinese and Japanese cooking, the abalone claypot rice.
So I'm using Japanese short grain rice that is cooked in some dried porcini dashi. I tie in an interpretation of like a claypot rice together with like nasi ulam, which is like a Peranakan herb rice,
Veggie rice,
veggie
yeah.
rice, and then also add in a little bit of a Japanese element with the ginger dashi.
Delicious.
So the last dessert is a dessert built around corn. So at the base of it, we have a honeycomb cake that is made with some caramelized burnt sugar. A lot of Singaporeans find the best compliment of a dessert will be it's not too sweet.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
so
Asian
I
compliment.
find correct. So I always find that adding a little bit of savory element to it really changes the profile of the dish. So when I first started private dining, my whole purpose was to break down the barrier between the guest and the chef. Through private dining, I'm able to interact with them and really build a bond between my guests. It's a very fulfilling journey.
I love how Priscilla has taken the high-pressure discipline of a 3-star kitchen and softened it with the warmth of her own home. And that's the magic of private dining. It adds a personal touch where you're not a customer, you're a guest.